What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 38 of Shoe Booty Sports. That is episode Curt Schilling for you folks keeping up at home. Quick plug for our sponsor. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. Visit rhinoraces.com. You can sign up there on the website, run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app. Take a screenshot of your results and submit it there on the website and receive your award by mail. All orders are free of shipping, so no shipping costs on all orders. Sign up today, run at your convenience, and yeah, get rewarded basically as soon as you get your results in. So rhinoraces.com. Also check out their gear section. They got t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. Again, rhinoraces.com. Today we're going to jump right in. I'm wearing my St. Louis Cardinals hat. It's appropriate. It's also appropriate that it's the Curt Schilling episode because it's the MLB All-Star game going on as we speak. And I was going to do the broadcast from my living room where I could see the TV, but it was a boring game, the first 3.5 innings. So I said, I don't feel like moving all the stuff in here. So I just brought it I just kept it in the bedroom or the spare bedroom. And as I come back to the spare bedroom, get everything set up, I hear back-to-back home runs. So Giancarlo Stanton and some other guy for the Twins hitting back-to-back bombs. So and this is an indicator of how little baseball I watch now. I don't know it. I would say I'm going to guesstimate 65% of the players on the All-Star rosters. It's
You would get,
pretty.
you would have to guess 65%, or you only know 65%.
I think I do not know 65% of the players on the All-Star rosters. That's American and National League. But the American League is up 3-2. And I did pick the American League to win because the American League's been better since we've been alive, pretty much.
It's been a minute, yeah.
So that's always yes, it's been a minute. So I always, if you're gonna bet money on it, you're always gonna go the American League. But I did know the first three players I saw out there. Kershaw pitching for the Dodgers. It's in LA, and it's Kershaw. It makes sense. And he had one of the best pickoff moves I've ever seen. Shohei Ohtani, another one I know, batted leadoff. He was 0 for 8 going into this game against Kershaw, and very first pitch, singles center field. Gets on base. Aaron Judge comes to bat. I know Aaron Judge. Hard to not know him.
Yeah.
I think he has 33 home runs right now at the break. So
Did you have your coffee today?
I did. Why? I amped up or something?
You seem a little amped.
Oh, well, I have my root beer right now. No caffeine in it.
Hey, how about that?
No,
I got a root beer too.
I'm feeling good. My brain's been going all day. Exact same kind as what I have, just the can version. Everything tastes better out of a can. If you can find the can, get the can. I don't know why, but everything tastes better out of a can. But anyway, Aaron Judge comes to the bat, and Aaron Judge, of course, strikes out. But he Kershaw picks off Ohtani, and it's one of the best pickoff moves I've ever seen. Granted, Ohtani is not, I'm sure, expecting a pickoff move. It's an all-star game, but
all-star game, yeah, going for pickoffs.
But this game does count for something, like the winner gets home field advantage in the World Series. Not that that's going to matter to the Angels, but it could certainly matter to the Dodgers. But first of all, the home run derby was last night. Totally went over my head that it was last night, so I got none of it. Didn't get to see a bit.
I watched like the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, totally went over my head that it was last night, and so I just completely missed it. And yeah, you could have texted me or something, but you probably figured I'd be watching it.
Yeah, I figured you'd be watching. I figured I was the only person that forgot it was on Monday.
Well, I totally forgot, but it sounded like it was a good one. I didn't know any of the people that were in the final rounds. I saw that Pujols advanced.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch clips of his round today while at work when I probably should have been working. but I got all my stuff done, so it's okay. But it made me think, what are some, because the MLB All-Star game and the Home Run Derby used to be, at least when we were growing up, it was like must-see TV. It seemed like I never missed a game or derby. Growing
No.
up, I imagine you were probably the same way with us both playing baseball growing up. But what are some of the memorable moments of both the MLB All-Star game and Home Run Derby that come to mind for you? The biggest one for me, as far as the All-Star game, was when Randy Johnson was pitching to John Kruk, and one just got away from Randy Johnson, and he threw just like a 90 something mile per hour something, and it just really whiffed way behind John Kruk's head. And then Kruk just like looked at him funny, and then just like basically just would just it was a comedy act the rest of the at bat. He was swinging at bad stuff on purpose just so he could get out of there. This was, of course, back when the game didn't mean anything, you know. And if you just listen to John Kruk's stories in general, they're pretty good from his playing days. Pretty entertaining stuff. And to there were some really good All-Star games when we were growing up. That, like I said, the American League won most of the time. But being a Cardinals fan, I'd always pull for the National League. But there were home run derby wise, Griffey lighting it up, you know, in his prime. There was, I think it was Josh Hamilton. Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember if he won it that year. It seems like the best rounds always go to the runner up.
Tommy won it one year.
He may have.
I remember him killing it one season.
But yes, and then McGuire, and you know, in the steroid era.
Yeah, McGuire and Sosa doing it.
Yeah, McGuire just lighting up pitch after pitch after pitch. And so, yeah, so moments like that. And of course, we didn't know about it then, the steroid thing, but it made it more, you know, it made it very entertaining for a home run derby, no matter how you feel about the steroid
We
situation.
Didn't know for certain. Yeah, there was some suspicion.
Well, nobody wanted to know anything. Like in 98, yeah. I guess it was when it happened.
Yeah,
because
it was just too entertaining.
Because baseball was on a decline. It wasn't what it was even in like the, you know, like the 80s and the early 90s. Like I remember probably the most memorable World Series for me that I ever remember just really getting into was, I think it was 93 when the Blue Jays beat the Braves, I think it was, or was it the Phillies? I think it was the Phillies.
When whoever beat the Braves in the early 90s.
Yes, that's how it always was. Except for 95, they finally got one.
They finally got it. So
they got just enough offense to back up that Hall of Fame pitching rotation. But it was Joe Carter hitting a walk-off home run to win the World Series, and him just like jumping up and down, running to first and all around. That was the most memorable, and like the Twins winning it with Kirby Puckett when he was there. Yeah, it was either the Braves or the Phillies most of the time. Like 90% of the time, it seemed like it was the Braves. But any other time, it seemed like it was the Phillies. Lenny Dykstra and something Dalton. Darren Dalton. He was a catcher for the Phillies. I remember him. But yeah, just the home run derbies were always cool. But like I said, it seemed like the best rounds would go to like the guy who ended up being a runner up. The person that always had the best round wouldn't necessarily win it. It's like they tired themselves out by the final round.
Yeah.
But Josh Hamilton had a great round. Griffey, Bonds doing it. You know, just it's Barry Bonds. Anytime Barry Bonds is holding a bat and swinging at a baseball, I'm going to watch it. So, anything in particular stick out to you for that? I got one more, but you go ahead.
No, not one particular play. I mean, I just, like I said, I just have some of those memories that we've touched on already. You just, you know, players in the home run derby. I remember a couple of them winning it, but yeah, no, there's no certain play that sticks out in my mind. I've slept a lot since then.
Well, there
So,
isn't. This isn't a play that I'm thinking of, but this was like mid 2000s. I want to say we were. I think it was after our sophomore year of college because I went back home that summer, living in furlough at my mom's for the summer, and yeah, I watched the MLB All-Star game. It came on. And I remember like Alter Bridge was singing like some song before the game. It wasn't even the national anthem. Like they were just performing. And do you know who Alter Bridge is? Do you
no.
it's Creed with another guy. So and the guy's good. His name is Miles something. He's got a really great voice. But it's Creed without Scott Stapp basically. It doesn't make them sound good when I describe it like that.
No.
But that's what it is. But that's what it is. Anyway, they're up there performing some song, just one of their songs, and then like Johnny Damon and Mike Piazza come up randomly, and Joe Buck is like, "Johnny, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Damon and Mike Piazza," and then said it of their teams and all that. And then like Damon, he still has like his long hair then. He goes up and gets on a mic and then just starts like singing, and you can tell he's like really trying to like sing, but his mic was cut off so nobody could hear it, which was probably a good thing. And then Piazza's over there with like one drumstick, like head banging with the drummer, and then every now and then he'd hit like the cymbal, and it was just kind of goofy and I'm sure it was a good idea on paper, but just came off weird and awkward. So that's one in particular that
Had
sticks
no
out to
idea
me.
that was even on TV.
Yes, it was. Again, it was like it had to be, like 2005 or All-Star. Yeah, I guess it was like 2005 All-Star game, something like that. Back when Johnny Damon and Mike Piazza were All-Stars.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking like just the noticeable differences in baseball today, especially like when we were growing up. The most noticeable differences for me, well, obviously, just it's not America's pastime anymore. Football has taken that over. A lot of the stars, up and coming now, are like from the Dominican or Puerto Rico. And I mean, you got your American stars. It's still big here, but it's not America's pastime anymore. It's not what it was decades ago. But pitching is a huge difference now. I mean, it's guys throw harder now than they ever have. And as a result, they don't throw as long, but you see a lot more strikeouts today as a result. A lot more strikeouts. Guys don't really go complete, they don't go heavy into innings just because, wearing their arm out doing that. But that's the noticeable difference to me. Pitching, more strikeouts. I heard a stat. It was like in the 90s. It was something like early 90s. There were like 23,000 total strikeouts for the year. And I think this past season or the last year's, there was like 42,000 something.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's pretty much double or close to it. So a different game now. The other thing I thought about, is there any chance baseball will never be the national pastime again? I mean, football is just it's taken over, and basketball is behind it. I mean, basketball
Yeah.
has come into its own as well, and it's only getting bigger, especially globally. So, baseball will never be America's pastime again, but it made me wonder if there can be a bit of a resurgence, and like you partially want to think, or I kind of think maybe it's in trouble. I don't think it'll ever be in trouble, but you see a lot of kids these days, like the youth, a lot, they're all playing baseball. And especially with what we know about CTE and head trauma and all that, I don't think a lot of people are really pushing their kids, especially early, to play football anymore. And my parents didn't let me play football until 7th grade, until I got to do it through school. And I was always like so mad about that. I had such a grudge about that. But I really agree with it now. I'm kind of glad they did that because if anything, it just made me want to play football that much more. Like when I finally got there, when I finally got to play, I was just chomping at the bit to freaking go out there and hit somebody. So, but with what we know about head trauma and CTE and all that, I could see kids, wanting to go more towards like baseball than say football. Yeah. Stick to basketball and baseball, maybe not go over to football. At least a lot of them are going to do that. And a lot of these tournaments, all these like tournaments, even like where we grew up, have these like little kid tournaments and they get these like rings as trophies basically. And you don't even have to win it to get a ring. Like all my Facebook friends, I'm not going to say any names, all their kids get like second place in all these tournaments and they end up with rings. And I'm like, how did you end up with a ring? You got second place. But and
What? Really?
yeah, it's but if anything, it's a cool incentive to make kids want to keep playing, I would think. Now my niece, shout out Haley, my niece and her team won their league championship in softball. She's 10 years old and she got a ring and they sent me pictures of it. I mean, dude, it's like a legitimate freaking championship ring. It looks like a college football national championship ring. Like it's crazy cool. I was like, wow, she's 10 years old and has that. So we got trophies. We got these little trophies.
Yeah, and they weren't even big trophies either.
No. I'm not like that for those of you watching Spotify and YouTube. By the way, find us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast, the Wisdom app. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at Shoe Booty Sports. So, yeah, it is. Hey, I still got my trophies from the Farm Credit years, man. We went back to back. Those are some good years. I remember you guys beat y'all. Y'all were like our last loss that year. Y'all beat us in the regular season, and that like pissed us off, and we ended up just routing everybody all the way to the championship. I remember that.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
like,
we were always good, but not great. So
Shelter, right? Shelter insurance.
old shelter insurance.
I remember the red.
Yeah. The good old 50-cent hats that we got.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know if they cost 50 cents, man. Those are some cheap ass hats.
When I went and got my couch, me and my dad walked up, and this dad and his kid, like, looked to be 10 years old or something, get out and they're coming in with us. And he just got out of a baseball game. And the jerseys the jerseys they have now are all kinds of cool.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
They're like legit.
Legit badass jerseys. Very cool designs. And I said, I was like, yeah, that's nothing like what we had. And we went into the hat discussion, like the 50-cent hat and all that. And my dad goes, yeah, you should have, he's like, yeah, you should have seen what we had to wear. But imagine what it was like for us. Imagine what it was like for our dads, like in the 70s, early 70s.
Yeah, we had dang t-shirts with iron-on lettering. That was great.
We rocked it though, man. We rocked it and we had fun. Some of those, like the best memories of my childhood.
Oh,
a lot of it involved Little League baseball and backyard baseball.
You remember there was one team that had like the 2-piece socks. Because remember, you could get the sock with the stripe up the ankle, or you get the sock that had the extra piece that slipped on to look like the stripe. You remember that?
I do.
It was bougie, but now I remember one team having it, going, man, what makes them special?
In our league,
we get them socks? No, I was winning one of them tournaments, man.
Okay, I was good.
One of the All-Star tournaments.
One of the All-Star
tournaments. Where we also showed up with t-shirts with iron-on lettering.
Yes, but it said All-Star on it.
Yeah.
Was this like the first year we were in All-Stars?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I remember that. I remember thinking like, man, we got a squad. Like we're gonna go up here and do some damage. And then we end up playing like
We got
Bryant.
damaged.
Yeah, we ended up playing like Bryant the first game and just
That's where I see my
completely
first live curveball was, yep, right there. I just remember going, "Oh, I'm gonna murder this pitch. Strike 3." Wait, how did I not hit? How did I not hit it? What the heck?
like wait, that was a
It's
ball.
what are you talking?
That
Wait,
was
how
about
is it
to
in the
hit.
dirt?
That was about to hit me, and then it ended up in the mitt, like
Yeah,
over the
mine,
plate.
dude.
How did that
Yeah,
happen?
mine looked like it's coming right down the middle, and I swung so hard and whiffed. Such a great feeling.
I remember one thing in particular about that. Well, one, these kids kept going yard on whoever it was we had on the mound. I was not pitching that game, fortunately,
Was it
but
Heifers?
no, I don't. Was he on the All-Star team?
Hey, probably.
I can't remember, but he. I remember that somebody hit a ball at the fence, and it ended up being like it went under the fence, and Logan Bell was out there, and he was trying to like get the ball because my dad was coaching. I remember he pulled him aside like and said, "Hey, if that happens again," because there was a hole in the fence or there was like a big gap at the bottom of the fence where a ball could get through it pretty easy. And my
Yeah,
dad said, next time that happens, like just throw your hands up, so they'll know it's like a dead ball and they won't let them keep running around the bases. They'll have them stop at second base like a ground rule double. And like it was like a batter or two later, the kid hits a home run, like legitimately over the fence. And like Logan runs over to the fence as it's like a bomb over the fence. Logan runs over to the fence and throws both hands up. And I remember my dad just like tripping out at that. Like he couldn't help but laugh. It was pretty good. But yeah, those were good times though. Funny stories at least.
yeah, real eye opener.
Yeah, that was like when I think of getting humbled as a child, especially, that's one of those.
Maybe that baseball scholarship ain't for me.
Yeah, that jumps to mind real quick.
Yeah.
But okay, one more thing. Have you seen the ESPN Plus's The Captain, the 5-part docu series on Derek Jeter?
No, I think I read something about it this morning. Just the fact that he had a 5-part series.
I would watch it, but I don't have ESPN Plus, and I haven't been around it enough to the TV enough to be able to watch. But well, the first part kind of cancels out the second part. It wouldn't matter because I don't have ESPN Plus. But I would watch it. I'm sure it's interesting. It's Derek freaking Jeter, man.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they go into like anything about. Surely they will, right? Will, right, about like how it went with him and A Rod and the rift between those two and all
Yeah,
that.
they have to.
Yeah, I do want to hear that. Like I'm genuinely
Like, it's just
curious
to
about
recap
that.
all the crap that we already know. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it.
I'd still watch it just to hear his take on it. Because Jeter doesn't say anything unless you like call him out or something. Like I saw somebody called him out. I can't remember who it was, but I remember Jeter being like, "Oh, he said that, huh?" And then just goes into kind of ripping him. This is like in an interview because he's part owner of the Marlins, right? We're
Yes,
on.
yes,
I'm gonna
he
say we're
is.
on video, right? We're on audio and video. You're gonna have to. I mean, yes, there's video, but we're mainly audio. You're gonna have to use your mouth.
Yes.
This is Graham Powell, host, by the way, co-host Bradley Brown. All this stuff I missed in the beginning, so
Yeah, good
apparently I
job.
apparently I
Good
haven't
job.
had my coffee. But we'll jump to football now. Is a Power Three conference in the future? Does that sound like that's what's going to be the thing in the next few years? Because the SEC
Man,
is apparently going after. They're going to
I
go
heard
after
they denied all
Clemson.
their applications, man.
Well, they're going to sit and wait, but they'll gladly take
And
Clemson, Florida State, and Miami, right?
yeah, I would think.
That would be
And
pretty cool. I would
it,
be
yeah,
way
and you
for
heard
that.
where they're like Oklahoma and Texas are going to wait until the year 2025 to join. because
I
it'd
did
be the
not see
honorable
that.
thing to do. They wanna uphold their end of the bargain. So
That's good,
yeah,
I guess. I
I
mean,
doubt it still happens, but they might go it in 2024. But who knows?
yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
But yeah, the SEC's got to want those teams, man. Miami, Clemson, and who else did you say?
Florida State.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. They've had their off years, but yeah, Florida State for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State is still Florida. I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a
they're
long
still the
time
powerhouse.
since the '90s. You know, when they were my favorite team.
But how they won with Jameis. So in the last 10 years, right?
Yes, but they were consistently there.
Yeah, they were consistently there. But
Used to in the '90s, it was always there were a lot of times when Florida and Florida State would play that they were number 1 and 2 in the country playing each other at the end of the year. That was so much fun to watch. Bowden and Spurrier, you know, gosh, those were
yeah,
some
you
good
used to rock
years.
the Florida State hat, right?
Oh yeah, I was a big Seminole fan. Love Florida State in the '90s. I mean, how could you not? They were just they were amazing. Now that I don't think they trying to think of when the time they won, it was like Chris Winkie was the quarterback. That was whatever '99, something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, that like Florida State, they were always like up there. They were always competing for it, but you know they only ended up with like one or two each. Florida just won under Spurrier. I can't remember if Florida State had more than one in the '90s or not. But the conference alignment thing is intriguing. Like the Big Ten, Notre Dame's basically just going to do what's best for Notre Dame. Makes sense financially, but
Yeah.
eventually they'll be joining the Big Ten, I'm sure, when I guess they have to. But they're apparently seeking like a $75 million deal, TV deal. And the reason they're not joining the conference is because they don't want to have to split any of the money with the rest of the conference if they, you know, get to the postseason. They want to keep all that money to themselves, which makes sense. But I know that the Big Ten is essentially going after a lot of the East Coast schools, or will, you know, the North Carolina, Duke, Syracuse. I heard being thrown in there, so I mean it'll be some good basketball. But yeah, if the SEC can bring in Clemson, Miami, and Florida State,
So how many teams total are they looking at? 20?
oh, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be around that
I
when it's
mean,
all said and done. I don't know how they're going to do it, what they're going to do it. I don't know all the details behind it. But if say that happens and the SEC brings in those three teams and maybe more, who knows? What that's obviously going to Arkansas is not going to be able to like Arkansas. They're not going to be able to play everybody, you know, in the regular season.
uh,
But that would surely knock out some non-conference games, right? It'll lead to more conference games. As
it
I
has
think
to,
it
yeah,
as I
at
think
least
it
one
should.
more. Yeah.
As I think it should. I think it should be at least two more
Yeah, two
because
more.
you're going to get better games. I would rather see Arkansas play Florida State than see them play Rice or Nickel State. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I want the Hogs to get a win, but I would rather see Arkansas Clemson than Arkansas Nickel State any day. At least with this current coaching staff. Now, in the Chad Morris era, Arkansas Nickel State was still pretty fun to watch because you're like, how low of a program can Arkansas play? Low as in just FCS, FBS school, whatever it is, and still get routed.
Speaking of Morris, I heard he got a job the other day as a
Like
senior offensive analyst.
I was gonna say in football,
Yeah.
where at? I mean, good
South
for
Florida.
him. Like University of Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, who's
I think
even
it
the
was South
coach there?
Florida.
Okay, South Florida. Well, I mean, Gus is at UCF. It's
Yeah,
not
what?
UCF, is it?
No, it wasn't Central Florida.
Okay, because that would be another bad call by Malzahn. He goes and gets
Yeah,
Chad Morris
I
and then
think
gets
he's learned
fired.
his lesson. Yeah, already. So
I would think. I mean,
but yeah, I was like, surely they're not gonna have this guy calling plays. No, he's just gonna be reviewing film for him. So,
speaking of UCF, I heard their name thrown in that mix too. I mean, obviously Clemson, Florida State, Miami are the big three, but UCF was another school that was kind of mentioned in that.
yeah, they made a lot of noise in the last couple of years.
Beat Florida in the bowl game. Won a national championship
Yeah, everybody
3
forgets
years
about that
ago.
national
Everybody
championship
forgets
3 years
about
ago.
that natty on the home bleachers. But okay, but what I was going to ask about the Arkansas thing, if it's nothing but really good games, nothing but big conference games, what would be considered a good year for like an Arkansas? 6, 7 wins.
If it was, yeah, dude, if it was all conference games, yeah, you would think 7 would be
Oh,
would be considered.
7 would be a great year
Yeah,
if you're
man,
having to
because
play
when a loaded,
Clemson.
yeah, in a loaded freaking conference.
Yeah, 7 wins would be a phenomenal year. And with the playoff, it's really not. It wouldn't be important and just roll through the. It wouldn't be as important to roll through. The game still means something, but you don't have to be 12-1 to make it. You know,
Yeah.
or 12-0 or whatever it is.
So once this happens, do you think they'll still? Yeah, there's still probably going to be people screaming for expanded playoff. But
Well, they're doing that already. That's probably where it's headed, though. But I mean, how
yeah,
many games can we
you can
play?
only do yeah, you can only expand it so much. I mean,
Yeah, how many games can we really play? There's now granted it's as Lane Kiffin said, SEC media days, which we'll touch on. It's basically professional sports now, and there's no control over how much money these kids can get. You know, which imagine what Johnny Manziel would have made if this was around. You know, when he played, and how much crazier his lifestyle would have been.
oh, he would have had his own reality show for sure.
Yeah, if the NIL was around then, name, image, likeness. I mean, because he was already, uh, signing autographs for 20 G's or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He only missed a half of football though. Johnny Manziel was a lot of fun to watch. Barstool had a Barstool put out something that was the most like electrifying college football players in the last like the top 10 most electric football players. I mean, he's up there. I don't know if there's a more just electrifying player than him. I mean, I'm not saying the best, but like wowed you on the field, like must see watch kind of TV. Who would you put over Johnny Manziel? Got to think about it, huh?
Man, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man, because somebody could throw out Tebow or Cam, but you kind of knew what they were going to do. You had no clue what the hell Johnny Football was going to do
Yeah,
whenever he drew back.
yeah. I don't know if Tebow is I
Tebow's kind
guess you
of
could throw him
boring.
in
Like he
there.
was just dominant, but
Yeah, like Cam definitely. Vince Young, Reggie Bush would Reggie Bush may be
yeah,
number one. I don't know if there was
yeah,
anybody more electrifying than him.
that was unreal. Yeah, his runs were unreal.
He was incredible. It's an interesting list. I saw Pat White thrown in there, the West Virginia quarterback. Do you remember him?
Yeah,
I don't know that he belonged. I remember seeing him in the list. I was like, I don't know if he belongs that high. I mean, he was a really good college quarterback, but I don't know if I'd throw him in on that list. Not knocking him, but just like, come on. Like these are like all-time great college football players. And Pat White was a really, really good college quarterback. Again, not knocking it. Just saying. Like a most electrifying. I don't know that I'd throw him in there with those people. Did you catch any of the SEC media days? Or the
um,
clips of it? Because who sits around and watches SEC media days?
I did not. No, I no, I seen a couple of snippets on Twitter, but that was about it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what Pittman says whenever that is. So I saw some of Lane's stuff. Of course, that's always going to be intriguing. Steve Spurrier was the best. He was the GOAT of SEC media days. He'll never be conquered. I would watch every Steve Spurrier like highlight clips of his media days. Man, he was awesome during all that.
Didn't Lane say something like he's autographed a whole lot of golf balls and mustard
Yes, he autographed
bottles?
some. He autographed some mustard bottles and golf balls, and he mentioned how it was like his strategy to go throw out the first pitch when they played Tennessee in baseball, and they ended up getting swept. Tennessee ended up sweeping him, and Tennessee made a big deal out of it. And he was like, "That was my plan," and we see how it worked out basically as they go on to win the national championship. I don't know.
Yeah,
Lane's a cool dude, man. He's a good interview.
you gotta like him, man.
You do. I mean, he's a great offensive mind, play caller, and I don't know. I like seeing him give interviews, even when he just says get your popcorn ready and then tosses his headgear aside and then gets trounced and makes a
Yeah,
lot of bad
then gets his
decisions.
ass kicked. Yeah,
Makes a lot of bad decisions. Let's go for it. I
it
respect
is
the
entertaining
strategy.
though. Yeah,
I respect the strategy. Just did not work out then. But the last thing I saw today was the Vanderbilt coach saying, "quote." Of course, this obviously made headlines. We know in time. Excuse me. Wow. Quote. We know in time Vanderbilt football will be the best program in the country. This is Clark Lee. I assume that's how you pronounce his last name, Lea, saying that about the Commodores and their future. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's like
what's a
when
post-apocalyptic future, or
yeah, I don't know, man.
what has happened?
I mean, I know coaches come in and say outrageous things all the way and make all these outrageous promises that 98% of them can't live up to.
Hey, I'm
But
glad he has that mindset.
I guess, I mean, you can't go in and say, yeah, we're gonna go in.
We're gonna go be a doormat.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna go get to a bowl game. We're gonna get there in time. Even though that's like the realistic goal. That's what the realistic goal should be.
Yeah,
Like
it should
just get
be.
to a bowl game consistently. Do that and we'll be happy. If I'm a Vanderbilt fan, that's all. I'm
Don't they
good with
usually
that.
have a decent year, like every 8 years or something?
Yeah, they'll get like a really good player in and they'll make some noise. I remember Jay Cutler, I think went 5-7 with them. He was the SEC player of the year. Beat Arkansas. Of course,
Yeah.
that's when Arkansas had Rojo at quarterback before they switched
Oh
him to wide
man,
receiver. We were at that game. Yeah, I remember being at that game up in the nosebleeds. But it's a yeah, it's
good
a
old
good.
Rojo at quarterback. Yeah, it's
Hey, he ended up being a productive wide receiver. I'll give him
he
that.
did, but man, he was a worrisome quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm glad they went somewhere else. But uh, yeah, the rest is
Uh,
history. So we'll see how it goes. I am glad football season's about coming up, though. Well, it's not about coming up, but we're talking about
50
it, so
some
that
odd days.
gets people excited. But anyway, we're out of time, y'all. Uh, this is Grandpa host, co-host,
Brother Brown.
and check us out next week for episode 39, the Larry Zonka episode. Did you see me go?
Wow,
Yeah, did you see me
where'd you
going with
pull
that one?
that one from?
Yeah, that would be episode 39. But until then, we're out of here, y'all. Deuces.
Peace.